Okay, so right now we're going to take a look at the hardware. I've given you a bag of some Conformat screws, and there's plenty of extra screws in there, but that's what we're going to use to actually hold the cabinet together. And then we've got our door here, and we can go ahead and install our hinge hardware at this particular point in time. So looking at the hinges, you can see these will fit right into the hinge mortise. Just place that hinge right into the hole, make sure it's flat to the door, snap that down, and the hinge is installed. And we'll do the same on the other hinge. Okay, so the door hinges are installed. We can set this aside until the cabinet is completed. And then we can take a look at the hinge plates, and this is where the hinges will actually attach to the cabinet at the hinge plates. Remember that there is a front and the back to these plates, and there's a little arrow right on the center of this hinge plate that points to the front of the cabinet. Okay, so we're going to put that hinge right into those two holes, and I'm going to grab this drill gun over here, put a Phillips head tip on it, and all I do is just drive those screws. Okay. Make sure we've got this pointed to the front. Okay, so now our hinge plates are installed. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to attach the bottom and the top to the right side. And then we will slide the 1/4 inch back into it and then attach the other side. So right now, I'm just going to set my right side on the bench, get my bottom section, and I can hold this in place without the assistance of a clamp, and I'll just go ahead and do that. But because here, I'm just going to put, I think I'll put 3 staples into this. I'm nice and flush across the top right here. If I needed to make adjustment, I could grab one of my laminate shims and place it under the low piece, whether the low is its side or the bottom, and then just take a mallet and tap on there. But right now, this feels good. Okay, so I've got the top of the cabinet, and we want to make sure that the groove is facing towards the inside of the cabinet. If we install it like this, the back won't fit in very well. So we're going to go ahead, and now I have to do this left-handed. I think on this side I'm going to go ahead and use a clamp just so we can see how a clamp can be of assistance to you. So just snug that up so that you've got your part in the proper position, held there by the clamp, and then you can go ahead and put 1 staple into it. It feels nice and flush, so I'm checking that the bottom, or actually the top of the cabinet is nice and flush with the side, and I'm going to install 2 more staples. Got a good fit there. Okay. So I think at this point I'll go ahead and install the Conformat screws. I've got my Conformat bit with the depth gauge on it. This is a separate depth collar that I purchased from Amana Tool, and this is my Compromat bit. Oh, let's see. Oh, there's the hole right there. All right, so I have a number 3 posi drive tip in my magnetic bit holder. I'm going to go ahead and...
Quick question there, Brendan. Why put the Confirmats in before you put the other side on?
I just think it'll be a little more stable. It actually, the exact sequence is not really critical. I mean, you could do all the Confirmats at the end. I just kind of feel like, okay, I'm going to be putting a little bit of tension on this part by when I handle it and twist it around to put the back into it. I think it'd just be better to put the screws in now. But it wouldn't be wrong to do it. The sequence is not super critical. Good question, though. Again, we want to just drive the screws so that they're just below the surface. You don't want to drive the screw all the way through the side. There won't be any meat left on that side to hold it together. Okay. So now I've got my sides safely attached, and I can go ahead and slide my back in. Let's do this. I'm just going to rotate this so it's a little bit easier for me to handle it. Okay, so you can tell this is fully seated. You just should have 1/4 of an inch of that back sticking above the top and the bottom. And then we're going to go ahead and put the other side on. Okay, what do you think? Looks pretty good. The back is the perfect size. So now I can go ahead, check my fit up the front, get that exactly where I want it. So I'm setting my staple so that it's 3/8 of an inch in from the edge. The top and the bottom are 3/4 of an inch thick, so 3/8 is in the middle of that. And I've got my staples in. So this cabinet now is pretty stable. I'm going to go ahead and put the Confirmat screws into the other side. confirmat screws. Okay, so now my box is basically together. I still have to install the nailers. If I want to check for square, I can go ahead and measure diagonally. And we've got 35 and 11/16. 35 and 11/16.
And it's probably worth pointing out that you installed the hinge clips inside first, because with a narrow box like this, it would be really hard to drive those screws.
Well, this drill gun would fit, but it's tight fit. So it is actually easier, I think, to put them in, actually install them before you actually put the cabinet together. So now we've got the nailers, and they should fit. Right like that. Okay, so the nailers are in place. I'm going to go ahead and put some staples in them so they don't move while I'm driving the screws. Go ahead and drive the confirmat screws. Flip it over. This cabinet is now fully assembled and ready to go. We've got a couple of adjustable shelves here, which will fit inside the cabinet like so, but we can take care of that on installation. All right, so let's take a look at the door here. Oh look, we've got a loose banding. Okay. We said this was a right-hand hinge. Maybe you want to, I'll just snap it on. So I had to turn that towards myself to attach it, but you can see that I just clipped them onto the hinges, and the door actually hangs down below the bottom of the cabinet, and that's because we're going to be installing a light rail on the bottom of the cabinet, and that will ultimately be behind. So the door is made long enough to just cover the light rail. Okay.